What is the probability of a close to your mind right now?
Oh, I think the probability of closing here is north of 95%. We're really in the final stages. I heard Leah, give some ideas about why the CMA changed its mind. I think it's an interesting question, but given the significant change in disposition, it's almost a road to Damascus moment for them. I don't think there's any question as to whether or not they're going to change it again. I speculate that they were told by the government to stop making the country look bad, but for whatever reason, they're hand in hand with Microsoft, and I think we're down to days or weeks.
Yes. There are the imponderables, right, Caroline? I mean, the CMA is so interesting in our post-Brexit world, standing out alone as a regulator, right?
Yeah, and there has been reporting done that perhaps the CMA was lent on in some way, that certainly there was a narrative of the UK looking tougher to do business in post-Brexit. And what does such a regulatory move like this mean for doing business going forward from a tech perspective, when, of course, Brian, London wants to remain a tech hub? I'm interested in your perspective of what this means for deals going forward more generally. Can vertical M&A get done?
Yeah, I think that there are two, sort of read-throughs. One is in the U.S. So, you've had U.S. enforcers go after vertical deals. You saw AT&T. Now we have this. You have two very strong precedents that, vertical cases are hard to bring. I think if you're a judge and you're looking at a case going forward, judges always try and look smart. They don't want to get overturned. They want to find what's reasonable and stay close to that. What's reasonable now looks like the government bringing vertical deals. Those cases look weak. And then more specifically with the precedent, I think what Corley did on the balance of the equities is going to make it difficult to argue that a PI is ever appropriate in a 13 case like this if the FTC is bringing it. You saw what Nichols did in UNH on remedy. That was cited in Corley's opinion. So now you have two recent remedy opinions that say that the government can't play this burden game. And so it's interesting, the aggressive push to block deals, it looks poorly executed right now because they've taken some things that they've used to threaten merger applicants with, remedy burdens, equity burdens, and they've burned them by losing in court. And so maybe this reckless approach to stop all on M&A works for 5 minutes, but then after the zealots are gone, you have less tools for reasonable people to apply.
Brian, the relationship between Microsoft and Activision is interesting. The deal's not done, and technically Microsoft owes Activision $3 billion. Do you game out any scenarios where, if this drags on, the financial terms between the parties can be revised or changed, the offer price or anything of that nature?
I'm not super focused on the break fee because that would come into play in a situation where regulatory prevented closing, and given the complete capitulation of the CMA, that seems like a very low probability tail event. What I think is interesting here is that, as Leah said, the contract is terminable tonight at midnight. And it would take someone raising their hand and saying, we want out. It's pretty clear to me from what's come up during the pendency of this deal, which is very strong performance at Activision, what's happened in the market since this deal was announced, which is a shift from focusing on corporate culture in sort of like a political stance to focusing on execution. There are significant cash generation at Activision. There are a number of indications that Activision's stock would be up from the levels at which the deal was announced at. Microsoft's internal model, as came out in trial, showed they could pay significantly more. So there's a lot of valuation positives here. And what I thought was interesting in the Reuters reporting on this is that Microsoft appears to be the party that started the conversation on re-upping the agreement. As Leah said, re-upping the agreement is not required. They could just continue to operate under the existing agreement. So if Microsoft is starting this conversation, all Activision needs to do to get a higher consideration is stay silent and let Microsoft do all the talking. As Leah said, there is the possibility that this would take the form of a dividend. I actually think that's the most likely outcome because any other outcome would require shareholder approval, which would delay things further.
There was reporting that Warren Buffett sold out of this arbitrage move in the last quarter. How much have you stood to gain from betting on this deal, Brian?
Well, so we're brokers, and so we act on behalf of clients. And so clients have done well here. We think there's more upside. The fact that Buffett sold is wonderful. I don't really think of him as an arb. So from our perspective, it's not super relevant.